and then I wore this white scarf around my neck. Not sure where else I'd wear it. Hi everyone, this is Alice and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the pre-screen interview for the Cultural Exchange Programme application. So a little bit about me. I applied to go on the Cultural Exchange Programme for the summer of 2019 and I was very lucky to get on it. I'm just doing a little series on the application process and what is involved and some tips and tricks for you all. I'll link in the description the video to the online application video, and hopefully once I filmed it I'll link the description to the final interview video as well, which I'm planning to film. So if any of you don't know, pre-screen interview is basically a group interview. I had mine on the 28th of September in the afternoon. This was the very last session that they had. Basically all of the pre-screen interviews take place in 1 week at the end of September. Well, it has been the end of September for the last few years, and they take place at the Yummy Jobs headquarters in Epping. It's very easy to get to on the tube. I roughly counted the amount of people in my session. There are about 50, so they have 10 of these sessions. So they have about 500 people for the pre-screen interview stage. And considering they normally get around 3,000, 4,000 online applications, it's a huge achievement just to make it to this stage. To this interview, oh my goodness, that's close. So you are given this interview time, you don't get to choose. If you really can't do it, you can maybe email and ask to change it, but I think it's always better just to go with what they give you. But they do all take place in 1 week, so I think if you can't do that week, unfortunately you can't be interviewed. In terms of what you have to bring, they ask you to bring a copy of your CV. I just used the same one I submitted for my online application. You also have to bring a passport style photo. I just used the same one I used my online application. Again, very simple. And they also ask you to bring a photocopy of your passport picture details page. In terms of what you wear, I was on a group chat with the people from my interview group. I think about 90% of the conversation on that group chat was about what people were wearing. Honestly, don't stress that much. It really doesn't matter. It's so much more about what you say and how you present yourself rather than what you're wearing. Just ease of mind, I will show you what I wore. I didn't take any pictures. I think I was just far too nervous on the day to take any pictures of what I was wearing, so I'm going to show you now. So I wore this grey knitted Jack Wills dress. It's just like a fitted dress. It comes like just above my knee, just kind of like smart casual. I think it's not like a full-on suit situation. And then I wore this Jack Wills blazer over the top of it, and then I wore this white scarf around my neck. Not sure where else I'd wear it. And then black brogues, and yeah, that was it. Honestly, please don't stress about this. It really doesn't matter that much. Just if you went to college and you could wear your own clothes, that kind of thing. Smart trousers, a nice jacket and a nice top. Brogues are good. Yeah, don't stress. It really doesn't matter that much. And then one thing I would say is maybe if you're someone that wears really heavy makeup, maybe don't do that on this day, because obviously the Disney look is very natural, so try and like follow with that. So it's kind of worked along the years. Everyone kind of meets up before the interview at this Starbucks across the street from the Yummy Jobs headquarters. I went here to meet everyone, and I went in and I was so nervous, and I walked in, I sat down and I kind of said hello to everyone. I said my name, but I was just so quiet because I was just so scared. Yeah. And I remember I went to the toilet, and this is gonna sound so dramatic, but I gave myself a pep talk in the toilet, in the mirror, you know, like, God, this sounds like a movie, goodness me, I'm so cringy. I gave myself this pep talk and I was like, Alice, suck it up, you're such a happy person, you've got just as much chance as anyone else has here. Just be yourself, you are perfect for this role. This role is made for you, this program is made for you, you love Disney, you're a happy person, you can do this. And yeah, I think I was just very intimidated by everyone there because everyone was just so lovely and kind and happy, which is obviously all wonderful things, but it meant obviously they were perfect for the program as well, and that just really scared me. So I came out the toilet and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be better now. And then from then I was just my usual self and very happy and excited, and yeah, it obviously worked because I got on. So yeah, so it was really nice meeting everyone there. Then when it was our time, we went over to the office. As you go in, you get given a sticker and it's like team whatever character. I think I was team Goofy. That rings a bell. I might be wrong, I'm not sure. And that basically corresponds with what time your interview is. And then you sit down in rows and they basically give a presentation all about the programme, and they show videos of what is involved in the programme and why you should do it. And I remember sitting there and I was like, you don't need to sell the programme to us, we all want to do it. Like, I loved it. It was a great presentation, but I was like, you know, you're preaching to the choir. We all want to do it. You don't need to tell us anymore. It just got me so excited, and then I was like, I really want to get on this, but I already did. I don't know. It was just kind of bizarre that they were kind of selling it to us, and we were all like, yeah, we want to do it. They also did a little quiz about Disney. I think it was like, when did Disneyland open? Like I think it was like, when did Disney World open or something like that. I can't really remember. I didn't answer any of the questions. I think I knew some of the answers, but I was just very scared. Also, they were, I don't know, this is kind of relevant, they're running a bake sale for Macmillan Cancer Charity throughout the week as well, all the pre-screen interviews, which was wonderful. It's a great way to raise money. And people made the most beautiful cakes. Honestly, some people are so clever. I was just in awe of them. But the thing I want to say about this, if you can't make cakes, like I travelled from Exeter that morning on a train for 5 hours to get there. I literally could not have carried cakes with me as well. So if you can't make cakes, don't think it's going to lessen your chances at all. They don't even really pay attention to who makes what cakes. So yeah, if you can't make the cakes, don't stress, and don't you know, spend 10 hours making the most extravagant cakes ever thinking it's going to better your chances at getting on the programme. Because honestly, it's really not. They just care about what you're like in the interview, not how good of a baker you are. This isn't the culinary programme. I'm very sorry. They also spoke in the presentation about the costs of the programme, and they gave us a little sheet about breakdown of all the different costs, which was helpful. They also had a role checklist, and they spoke about every role and what is involved in it, and you had to tick off which roles you were interested in. Honestly, I just ticked all of them because I just wanted to seem keen, but it doesn't really matter that much, I think, at this stage if you change your mind about roles, because if you get through to the next stage, you have to do another one of those role checklists anyway online for Disney. So yeah, don't stress too much about this. I think just tick every one. Obviously, don't tick lifeguarding if you can't swim, because you're not going to be that good of a lifeguard if you can't swim. And then it was time to have the interviews. I was with Natalie, who was very, very lovely. I was very happy to have her. And I think there were like 8 people in our interview. We always basically had this room and we all sat around in a semicircle in chairs, and Natalie sat at the front and behind her desk. And she had all of our like CVs and photos and stuff in front of her. And I think she had like sheets of paper and she was writing in information about us. Yeah, don't stress if she's like writing loads of information. Obviously she's got to try and process and evaluate 8 people, which is probably a really tricky task. They asked a bunch of questions. Obviously I will say what some of the questions were, and Natalie started with a different person each time to answer the questions. Although it's a group interview, we didn't have any group discussions. It was more just like each person would answer a question individually and you'd like go round. So it was basically effectively like a solo interview, but you had to listen to everyone else's answers. So the first thing you had to do is, with the person sitting next to you, you had to tell them your like name, where you go to uni, what you study, and a fun fact about you, and I think like what Disney character you like the most or something like that. And then we had to say it for the other person. And I think mine was, obviously my name's Alice, I go to Exeter, I study theology and religion. I think I did my fun fact was my brothers call me Bug, because I thought that was just kind of random. And then Natalie would ask each person a question back about what the information they gave. So to me, because I study theology, she asked, what's your favourite religion? And I think I said like Islam or something. I can't really remember. I remember I didn't know what to say. I was like, I love all the religions or something. I don't know. That kind of threw me off guard because I've never been asked that before. So thank you, Natalie. So then we had proper questions. So there were things like, why do you want to do the programme? So I said like, I've been lucky enough to go to Disney World when I'm younger, and I've been really lucky to be on the receiving end of wonderful hospitality from the cast members, and I'd love to give that back and create magic for other families. Also, we were asked if someone in the park asked us about our hometown or saw on our badge, you know, Alice from Chelmsford. What would you say about Chelmsford? What's one great thing about Chelmsford? And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Chelmsford is not the most interesting place. So when she asked this question, I was kind of freaking out inside. And I was like, I don't know what to say. So I think I said something like, we have a really great cathedral. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not been inside the cathedral in about 10 years. I only went there because in primary school we had like services there. And yeah, but I sold it and it turned out alright. We also had to talk about what is the most valuable attribute we have for working at Disney or something like that, and where we showed it in the past. So it was things like teamwork, like leadership, hospitality, adapting to different situations, initiative, those kind of things. I think I said hospitality because I said when I was head girl I had to meet a lot of people from different ages and backgrounds and talk to them, make conversation, and I could apply that very directly to working in the Disney parks and talking to people from all around the world. They also asked what your top 2 roles are and why. I said merchandise and character performer. I said merchandise because I'd really love to be able to talk to a lot of families and a lot of children, and I just like talking to people. And I think I said like my friends always say I can talk for England because I'm so chatty, which is true. And then I also said character performer because I would love to be able to create those magical moments as I received. People always talk about meeting the characters at Disney, so that's like an iconic part of the parks. They also asked you about living in accommodation. Would you be comfortable with that and how would you deal with that, and have you had any experience of it in the past? And I talked about how I boarded at my senior school, so I obviously have experience of living with other people and how you deal with having differences in living and styles of living. For example, if someone stays up really late or gets up really early, how you deal with that. And talk about like compromise and communication with each other. They also asked how you'd cope with the heat, so I basically just said at the end of the day, obviously keep hydrated and all those kind of obvious things. But I also said, you know, the main priority is the guests, and no matter how hot it gets, you've got to remember that the guests are the priority and they expect to have a magical time at Disney, and that's what you should deliver to them no matter what the heat is like. I think they also asked what character you most like, and I honestly can't even remember what I said. I might have said Meg. I can't remember why though. I think she's like courageous and she knows her own mind. Yeah, probably just trying to think like outside the box with those kind of ones. But with all these questions, my ultimate piece of advice is it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. All the answers that I gave, they weren't rocket science answers. They were answers that I'm sure they've all heard before, and you can try and think as much as outside the box as you want. But ultimately, as I said, they had like 500 people and they've been interviewing people for years and years for this program. They've probably heard all the answers in the book. So don't stress about trying to find the most creative answer. It's so much more about how you say it and how enthusiastic you are and passionate you are. And I think like try and be really smiley, and eye contact is so important, and try and keep really good eye contact with whoever's interviewing you. So in this case it was Natalie. Also maybe talk to people in the group as well and gesture towards them and everything. I think having confidence in your answers and yourself is so much more important than saying the most out there or crazy answer you can think of. So yeah, please don't stress too much about what you say. It's so much more about how you say it. So yeah, that's about it. After the interview was over, I think it was about 45 minutes to an hour long, we came out and some people stayed and ate cakes and stuff. Honestly, I just kind of wanted to leave because I was just so relieved it was over, and I really wanted to call my sister and tell her how it went. The pre-screen interview is also a really great way to meet people. In my pre-screen interview I met Yaz, who she is starting a YouTube channel, Yaz in Wonderland, her name is. I will link her channel in the description below. She is the most gorgeous, lovely person ever, and we met at this interview and I messaged her the day after. I think I found her picture on the My Yummy Story hashtag on Instagram the day after, and I messaged her and I said, it was so lovely to meet you, how did your interview go, because we weren't in the same interview group. Since I sent that message we have talked every single day since, and we're actually travelling together at the end of the programme in summer. So it just shows that people you meet on the pre-screen interview could end up being some really good friends of yours. Good luck to you all if you are having a pre-screen interview. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment down below, or message me on Instagram or all those kind of things. I'm going to be vlogging this summer my experiences and adventures in Disney World, so if you would like to follow me along, please feel free to give me a cheeky subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.